circling is complete, and this race is on.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at the ghost boat and the wind field. Ghost boat liking that right-hand side currently, but plenty of wind over the course, perhaps steadier than we've seen in the last few days.
So it will be INEOS Britannia coming in on board at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and Alinghi Red Bull Racing at 2 minutes on the starboard side. The one thing we've seen from Alinghi Red Bull Racing, their starts are strong. They've got to convert them though.
Okay, stand by.
Both teams lining up here, coming into shot on time for their entries.
18 rotation, please. Okay, back and down.
Green light for the official challenger of record, INEOS Britannia.
Okay, stand by. Forward down, forward moving. Okay,
Green light for Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
Now we're down, 2, 1, and diving here. Bridge north.
The Swiss wanting to stay tight as they possibly can. Loose there. Swiss team, British deciding to roll into a loop to then put pressure back on the Swiss team. Decision time now for Alinghi Red Bull Racing to match.
Your wheel, my wheel.
Oh, big touchdown there, Alinghi. They haven't executed that manoeuvre well. They're on the ropes here.
Pick them up, go the other way.
Talk to me about them.
They are on board, to board, to break.
So they'll be looking at plan B and plan C now. Their pre-start
Big yacht, big trip.
in tatters.
Yeah, INEOS Britannia on the way back to get them.
They are attacking, so I'm to drive.
Minute to go.
Memory serves me correct, they did this yesterday in the start box as well,
35 for the pin.
with a minute to go.
Big up here.
British here lining them up. Alinghi having to avoid protests here. Big risk of a collision. Oh, that is super close there.
Don't drive here, please.
Cannot.
Must be a penalty.
All good now, mate.
Bridges Slater. These guys could risk rolling the boat over here, Alinghi, if they're not careful.
Keep pushing, boys.
Whoa.
They've saved it, but they are absolute sitting ducks at the moment. Big rebuild here
Just
for
keep low
Alinghi.
Kent on the other side. Okay.
Enough breeze to take off on the foils again, but only 15 seconds to start here. The British time on distance from here. They've done what they've needed to do.
11, 9, take the peel. Okay, hold it up. Okay, hit it, boys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Drama in the start box for the third outing between these two teams, but it's INEOS Britannia up and flying. Alinghi Red Bull Racing trying to get themselves back up on the foils.
Don't burn matches, they're off the foil.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing just trying to get a little too fancy in the pre-start, and it's absolutely blown their foot clean off. Massively on the back foot now. Huge grind there to get the main back on and stay on the foils, and they're back off the foils again to get through the start line, so they will have a huge deficit to make up here.
I'm sure we'll look at that port starboard again, but it was cleared by the umpires. There was no penalty. They must have felt that INEOS Britannia was perhaps hunting them.
It'll be very interesting later on to have a replay of that with the electronic boundaries, see what happened there exactly. But British now just having to bring the shoulders back, enjoy the ride from here.
They are still off the foil. Hey, main is good.
Seeing this another angle here. British, I think, actually in the end there, unexpected of what they saw. They were expecting one thing, and in the end they were just avoiding a collision. So very, very interesting situation there. But they put Alinghi under pressure, and they got what they wanted. They got them off the foils and in a compromised position. And an unforced error there from the Swiss. So very, very lucky to not capsize the yacht.
Keep pushing. And jibing. Don't jibe here, please.
View from above here. Yeah, I think the British there rolling through, actually jibing, and then becoming the win with Yacht, but I think actually avoiding a collision. So the result's the same, no collision, and now they're over a kilometre in front of the Swiss team.
Let's go to chase 0, Pete.
I've got to say, I was holding my breath. I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be a big one. And it was that last turn by Alinghi, and from there they were in trouble. And for me, what was running through my mind, that was the master against an apprentice. And a superb job by Ben Ainsley and his team in terms of boat handling, course awareness, pre-start awareness. Pretty to watch, but it could have been ever so ugly. So, you know, good avoidance by Ben Ainsley also right at the last minute.
Well, Arno Sarfagas and his team, they knew they had to do something special in that pre-start, and were really trying, you know, to execute a great start.
I agree with went through my mind. Ruthless by INEOS.
Absolutely, Stephen. I agree with Pete. You know, it was a real fantastic display of extreme boat handling under pressure there by the British. Good to have a little look down the track at some onboard. Oh, here we go. Off the British there, so jibing. Oh, real defensive manoeuvre there. You see how easy that front sail is, and they were full helm down here going, we've got a bit on. And that is as close as you ever want to see two AC-75s come together at pace.
Crodas, jibing.
I'd say that cracking noise would have been some damage inside the mainsails hinge. You heard the crack like a gunshot going off. That'll be breaking carbon inside the rig of INEOS Britannia.
But what that's led to is this. At the top gate, massive advantage to INEOS Britannia on the first upwind leg. What a dramatic day we're having already. There's still 2 races to go.
Just to put all those in Great Britain at ease, it's not a catastrophic failure of that noise cracking. It'll just be some carbon ridges inside holding the twin skin mainsails apart near the front of the mast, so not a big job to fix. Annoying for boat builders, but a bit like breaking an icy pole stick. They'll stick it back together again pretty quick.
Down. 3, 2, 1, mate. Panic.
I suppose what we saw there in that manoeuvre too was pressure. Huge pressure being applied by INEOS, and Alinghi Red Bull Racing cracking under it.
Okay, building on his head.
Still hearing that noise as they're jibing the boat, so potentially there's some sail bridges.
He's coming nicely.
Not happy in there, but they'll be looking to get them sorted out as quick as they can. They're all in good shape.
Top gate for the first time. They've got their boat back and flying at a good speed, but look at the distance between the two. Alinghi Red Bull Racing complete leg number 1 and race 3 of their semi-final showdown with INEOS Britannia. I'm sure the heart rates of Alinghi have come down somewhat. Really took half a leg to do it.
Certainly some skid marks on the race course, and there'll definitely be some skid marks in the undies, I think, after that intersection from both boats. That was super close, and a really good job there by the British not to put a hole in the side of that beautiful Swiss boat. Boys now pushing hard.
8+6.
No time to really catch a breath. They're having to do a lot of trim work there in that pre-start. 2 complete rebuilds, which uses pretty much all your gas in the tank before you even get off the start line.
Back on mode 2 for the downwind.
A lot of pressure on this young Swiss team. Backroom filled with Alinghi management. You know, sailors and managers used to being successful in the America's Cup arena. I can imagine it's been a tough few weeks.
Looks like they are very good at doing out, yes.
Kent's going out.
And not touching.
Max Bachelin steering at the moment on port.
A little righty for us. Big up.
You know, going back to the start, the other thing that's coming to my mind now is the regatta continues. INEOS Britannia's statement of intent. They are not going to be messed with. So it's another little signal to everybody watching that they are in here and they're going to play tough. If you need to play tough and rough, they will.
Not until 5.
INEOS Britannia around the gate to complete leg number 2. Sweet as roses.
Okay, happy straight
It's
to
a lovely,
main hand.
lovely manoeuvre there. And flight controllers there.
Main is good.
Led them on, Lee McMillan. In actual fact, that not only that mark rounding, but that pre-start situation.
Okay, 25 this way.
Rolls on board.
The average, chef.
Let's go on INEOS Britannia's change back with coach Rob Wilson. We've been using the word ruthless in that start box. Is that a statement of intent about how you intend to continue this regatta, Rob?
It was. I think the boys just saw the opportunity, you know, just to get the advantage on Alinghi, and they certainly took it. I wouldn't say it's ruthless. It's all part of the game, isn't it? Like, everyone's playing for big stakes.
Rob, Glenn here, I'm sure not only you guys would have been quite surprised with how that all ended up, but there would have been a few nervous moments for your shore crew there, seeing that unfold. But boys did a great job to keep it all in one piece and keep the boat upright.
Yeah, for sure. There was, you know, we were all nervous on the chase boats, that's for sure. But you know, I'm sure it was pretty calculated.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate the time, mate. Alinghi Red Bull Racing finish the second leg and head upwind for leg number 3.
And 25.
And they've got a lot of chasing to do.
Extend a bit. Still 25. Very good mode still. Take this gain.
Past intersection, so pavement course here, bend 25 to boundary. Maybe a little press
Fantastic
time on the
aerial
bow, but any time was good.
shot there of the British boat.
Very nice. Okay, stand by. Yep.
On to chase 0, Peter. The British in a dominant position.
1, mate.
It's pretty stock standard stuff now, and what's interesting, I'm just looking at relative timings and speed, and it does appear as though the British on that downwind leg made about 10 boat lengths, so they're not taking their foot off the throttle, and then upwind the boat looks just superb. Look, these conditions now are absolutely perfect, and I think we're getting a good handle on relative, you know, boat-on-boat performance. Who's got the fastest weaponry out here? And INEOS certainly are in the first division, no doubt about that.
Nice one, lads. You get to lane, no problem. 35 today. A little bit left bias to the top gate, so don't mind taking that.
Onto Alinghi Red Bull Racing's chase boat, Coach Petro Sabella. Heart back in the chest after that start box incident.
Yeah, for sure. It was difficult, a difficult race when you have started like that. But the only thing I can say is that we are much better than that, and you know, it's we have one more race today to show it, to take it out. So we will reset after this and make sure we are stronger in the next one. It's good to keep going and to keep pushing to check the performance in this one. But yeah,
makes life tough, huh, Petro?
Yeah, for sure. You know, everybody here is pushing. Also, I mean, for sure, the guys on board, also the shore team is doing a great job, great effort at the base on the water. So we just keep fighting to the end, and we will be stronger next race.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, lengthening the course to 1.9 nautical miles and shifting the axis to 203.
INEOS Britannia heading at the top gate to complete the halfway mark of this race. The third race between them and Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
2, 1.
Done with ease as they head down on leg 4.
20. I hit.
Ben Ainsley saying light here as they cap out at 87 kilometres an hour.
Quite good lefty though, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, my trap. Yours. Okay, now we can. Yep. Stand by. Or down. Left, 2, 1, mate.
still making a rather unnerving noise in the mainsail of INEOS Britannia.
Pressure here.
Swiss team now just focusing on their boat handling and executing this top part of the course well. They'll be get the boat around, regroup, and fire up again for the next race. There's still plenty of racing to go. They need to start getting some runs on the board.
Left here at the top. Nice pressure here. Nice coming like right. Not so much steady pressure there. It's not crazy.
Pressure in two. One pressure here.
Still a bit.
Easing one.
Good angle.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing now have completed the first 3 legs of 6.
One clear.
It's a long way to home, 3 to go.
18. 110. 130.
Nice pressure in front.
140. 30 to the runway.
Average breeze here.
Squash on their ride height there on the foil, so the thrust of the sails basically wanting to pitch the boat really bow down as they accelerate around the mark. So the rudder elevator
Ice grip here.
getting over 2.5 tons of downforce on it as the boats bear away in these conditions. So having to counteract that with extra flap on those front foils, keep the ride height level. All controlled by the human on board. Different to what the AC40s are that are controlled by an autopilot for the youth and the Women's America's Cup. These AC75s all
Right bias. What do you reckon? Just go straight in and look for an
human.
earlier attack. Yeah, I think so. It is left shift at the moment, but yeah. I'll have a little look and
You don't wish to take anything away from what the Swiss are doing, but right now this race is turning into valuable practice for INEOS Britannia. I know they've still got 2 legs to do as they hit this bottom gate to complete leg number 4, but you almost feel it right at this point of the race, pressure's off. They just got to go through and execute cleanly to get to that finish. That start set up everything. No one saw that coming. Not even they saw that coming.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, lengthening the course to 2 nautical miles.
Breeze just continuing to build, which is really, really nice to see here. Absolutely perfect sailing conditions here off the coast of Barcelona. Pretty much in any boat that you're sailing, certainly on an AC75. Fantastic shot there of 7-ton carbon fibre rocket getting flicked around in attack. Huge G-forces there on the crew.
And a big slide there, bleds.
Whilst the guys are putting in max wattage.
Got them here.
Yeah. You've got to keep clear.
Yep. Taking main, big push lads.
Lee McMillan now in the offside foil trim position, so he's course managing and setting up base settings there, keeping an idea on trim, pitch and course management numbers. So all the crew having multiple jobs on board these boats. You're not just doing one job. You've got 3 or 4 hats on,
Numbers here.
depending on what tack you're on.
Nice lefty. 45 still boundary. Leading down. Coming on the bower. Yeah. Good.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing finally getting to the bottom gate to complete leg number 4. This must be disheartening to say the least. They needed to do something in this race. They had to win this race to get them back in the game. They're not out of the game, but they're not far off. But I can keep throwing this one out. It's the America's Cup and anything can happen.
25 to boundary. We'll take at the boundary.
Going 21. Very nice pressure in front.
The Swiss team pushing hard there. You saw the difference in the 2 mark roundings from the same position of the 2 different teams.
And turning
Nice tack there.
I've forgot a little bit to go, but
Pressure 2.
The distance not shortening though, Shirley. Distance seems to be just leading out to our quite a healthy margin for the British team.
Nice lad. Good work. Much more to come in 5.
It's going to chase 0, Pete. 1.5 legs to go for INEOS and a full 2 legs for the Swiss. So what do we take from this at this point in time?
30 seconds to late.
I think there's two aspects to this one. It's, you know, obviously pre-start, and that was a huge moment in terms of the story here in Barcelona. And it was really INEOS that had full control, and they avoided, and their boat handling to avoid was massive. But then I've just been watching the deltas at each mark. They've pushed on, and that last leg, on that downwind leg, they took another 6 boat lengths. So they're not taking their foot off the accelerator, and from that, they're just learning how to sail this boat faster and faster. And, you know, for Alinghi, they're going to, that's an uphill battle when you're 3-0 down in a 5-win series. So they need to do something special in the next race. And so from this, they just need to learn and try and come back and hit the last race hard of the day.
Yep. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, Pete makes a good point. You know, conditions are different every single day here in this venue. So if you get a day, you have to maximise the learning from it.
Happy here for now, keeping the cadence.
Yeah, every minute on the water in this development phase as well as the racing phase is really, really priceless time.
INEOS Britannia at the top gate for a final time in their 3rd race against Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They'll be heading home, and they should pretty much bank another win. Man, if you're a supporter of INEOS Britannia, you would be pretty happy about that.
Nice, that's locking them in. 25 still boundary.
Wasn't their cleanest mark rounding there on the British boat, but they managed to keep the rudder in the water and boat on the foil, so still well within the boundaries of what you call acceptable mark rounding. That little skinny rudder, the lower section. INEOS Britannia not providing a whole lot of grip when it's close to the surface.
That's it. Good pressure.
The only thing I'd have to say that I'd change on board the INEOS Britannia boat at the moment is the camera post at the back. I'm getting a bit seasick watching that camera with it wobbling around. So to the shore crew listening, you do your Aussie mate a favour and stiffen that little bugger up a bit for us.
Anything for you, Glenn. Anything for you.
Pressure 5.
Right at the top.
Next one is a bareway. Very crazy.
Really different aerodynamic package on the Swiss team. Both these two teams possibly the most aerodynamically aggressive out of all the teams, so we'll see the different design philosophies.
Lighter again in front.
Pressure on us now.
Yes, you can. Okay, you're clear. 3, 2, 1.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Complete 5 legs. It's on the homeward leg, and it'll feel like a very long leg, considering the distance they are behind INEOS Britannia.
Average breeze.
No surprises that both teams are pushing the aerodynamic side of things super hard with their connection with F1 teams.
Down. One mate. Good, lock it in. All the way. 35 this way.
delivery trip here for the British team at the finish. It'll be crickets for the next 20 seconds as they get the job done.
INEOS Britannia, the official challenger of record, are about to put another win on their belt. That will make it 3-0 after bullying Alinghi Red Bull Racing at the start. They've done a job on them, and it is a big job and a big step towards the Louis Vuitton Cup final.
Okay, and jiving here now.
I'm gonna ask this question of both of you.
Of course.
If you're the defender sitting watching the rapid improvement and just you happen to meet this team in the match, would you be concerned? You have to answer the question.
Did we never have a collision course?
Surely. We'll hand this over to you, Phil.
Maybe you could time to work up here.
They seem pretty happy on board. I mean, I would imagine the defender would expect the level of progress that we've seen from INEOS Britannia, and also a level of aggression. You know, Ben Ainsley is a class act. He's a world match racing champion, and you know, the greatest Olympic sailor that ever was. So, would you expect any less? I'm not sure.
Let's go on board INEOS Britannia. Ben Ainsley, congratulations. I didn't know you were such a bully in the start. That was a magnificent moment, but gee whiz, did you see it coming?
Kind of. I thought at one point we might have been going aboard the Swiss, but thankfully we managed to keep the boats apart, and the guys did a great job to keep the boat on the foils and got ahead and then set a nice clean race, but good to get some action.
Got to say, Ben, you and the crew are handling this boat like it's a go-kart. It's pretty to watch.
Yeah, it's great conditions out here. You know, it's perfect sailing. What have we got? Sort of 14, 15 knots of breeze from the southwest. Bit of swell around, so it's quite tricky still to keep the boat, getting the performance out of the boat. So we're still learning plenty and having some fun.
Ben, how nervous is it in the pre-starts when you're that close to another boat and you're doing 30+ knots? Just describe what that's like.
Yeah, there's plenty on. You got to trust in your teammates. They've got to probably trust in the two helmsmen as well. So yeah, we did. It was a tight one, but like I said, the guys did a great job to keep the boat on the foils.
You sounded pretty relaxed, Ben, like it was all expected there. At the end, there was no fever on board at all. Bet your eyes nearly popped out of your head when you saw the Swiss bear away there. But you guys did a great job to avoid and keep everything up in the air, mate. That should be up in the air, and everything in the water that's supposed to be in the water.
Yeah, we'll try and keep that going for the time being. Thanks, mate.
Nice, mate.
Now, one more to go. We'll see in the last race of the day, Ben.
Cheers.
So, confirmation of this race between INEOS Britannia and Alinghi Red Bull Racing. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, the margin between the two, after INEOS Britannia continues to fly and fly fast. And they, like Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, have a clean sheet. They are 3-0. Remember, first to 5, and you're in the Louis Vuitton Cup final.